One little last piece of political news. We had to say goodbye to our favorite candidate this week, RFK.
You can say goodbye to him. I'm never saying goodbye.
He dropped out of the race and he endorsed Donald Trump. And everybody was just giving Cheryl Hines so much shit about it.
I have to tell you, I feel like I was a man alone on an island about Cheryl Hines and RFK. Because as soon as he... Listen, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I smoked a lot of cigarettes and looked at some crazy shit on the internet during the pandemic.
Sure.
Like, I was playing a lot of video games and just straight up listening to Alex Jones, just being like, what's this fucking guy saying?
Uh-huh.
And when you were listening to it in real time, you realized how much of a grifter he was, because I watched him over a 6-hour period, and at the beginning of it, COVID was laid out by Melinda and Bill Gates, and at the end of the 6 hours, he said, we're going to now talk about COVID, which he had been doing the whole time.
Right.
It's from the devil, the literal devil, and then he named a bank where the devil worked. And I will always be like, if I'm the devil and I'm in hell and I hear that this motherfucker's telling people I have a job, I'm going to make sure you get caught.
Or a bank account.
Bank account.
I'm the devil.
I don't need money.
I have souls. But the thing with RFK is I saw RFK come in a fucking mile away, and he was a nightmare during the COVID period because he would say things to the level he's saying it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Day of, in reacting to a press briefing, where you're like, that's not what was said today, you fucking rich kid.
Well, RFK Jr. left us one little gift on the way out the door, and it comes in the form of a recently resurfaced 2012 article from Town and Country magazine with RFK's daughter, Kick Kennedy. And she was trying to kick off a career at the time, so they interviewed her for the Christmas issue of Town and Country magazine. This article was written by Hudson Morgan, and people actually just kind of picked out one paragraph from this magazine that I wanted to share with you guys. And last year, I described the Alex Jones trial as an endless piñata. Candy would just not stop falling out of it. And this year, it's the campaign of Robert F. Kennedy. So this is from Town and Country magazine in 2012. When she was 6, word got out that a dead whale had washed up on Squaw Island in Hyannisport. RFK, who likes to study animal skulls and skeletons, ran down to the beach and cut off the whale's head with a chainsaw.
This guy...
He then bungee corded the head to the roof of the family's minivan for a 5-hour drive back to New York. Quote, and this is Kick, every time we accelerated on the highway, whale juice would pour into the windows of the car, and it was the rankest thing on the planet. She says, quote, we all had plastic bags over our heads with mouth holes cut out, and people on the highway were giving us the finger, but that was just normal day-to-day stuff for us.
When I heard that one of RFK's wives said, stop cheating on me or I'll kill myself, and he said, you can't chain me, baby.
And then she did.
I wish someone had said, that is the most relatable, normal story you're ever going to hear about this guy.
Yes.
And not even close. Not even that there's like question. You're going to be like, I wish he was a serial killer. It would make this behavior so much more normal, right?
Mm-hmm. He's just a guy with worms in his head.
The worm thing, who knew that would get so much credence and evidence?
Yes, immediately from him, from his camp, or his kids in this case. And the image of that guy on a peaceful beach on the windswept Atlantic Ocean with a chainsaw at dawn.
So pleased the Kennedy legacy is dead. Fuck JFK.
Yeah.
Fuck RFK. Fuck Teddy Kennedy. He literally murdered a woman.
Yeah. No, well, and then also...
and also fucked America out of having health care because he just didn't like Jimmy Carter.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also have to shout out Joe Kennedy III, who was the first Kennedy to lose an election in Massachusetts, to Ed Markey, who ran, after being in the Senate for 150 years, ran to his left somehow and beat him. So they're cooked, but just that image of the man holding a chainsaw and just like sawing through a fucking whale's head, and then just the physics of moving. It doesn't matter what the species of whale, it's got to be tremendous.
Imagine that guy who did that later told her to go to bed.
Yeah. Covered in
the gristle of a whale.
Rotting whale juice.
I honestly feel like he's not a parent who would try to control his kids at
He's a
all.
fun dad.
Yeah.
He's the most fun
No,
dad.
he's not a fun dad. He's a just neglectful dad.
Fun dad. Fun dad until it fucks you up when you're older.
I don't know about you guys, but my childhood was filled with... my dad was not a quote-unquote fun dad, but I knew so many, like... man, Dad's so fun between the hours of 4 and 6 every night, and then he gets really angry. You know what I mean? Those kind of dads.
Yeah.
And what I always found is you're totally right. It's like neglect, and then they just decide it's like, now I got to enforce all the rules.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you, sir? You have the blubber of a whale on your shoulder. I'm not cleaning my room.
Your children are covered in whale rot.
Am I alone in thinking that JFK Jr. got a genetic test and then just went, I just got to take myself out?
Yeah. I mean, potentially.
Do you know that his best friend sent him an email that day, which is, I'm going to need you to promise me that you stop flying. You are so bad at this. And then and it's like one of those ones, and he wrote it. It's this guy, John Perry Barlow, who's a lyricist for the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
And he like writes about it in his book of like, yeah, it was really fucked up. He was so bad at it, he just wouldn't stop flying. Which is why when people are conspiracy theorists, I'm like, no, his best friend is like still apoplectic about it.
Yeah. It was the first email I ever sent in my life.
It
was 1998, for heaven's sake.
Just something about the fucking Kennedys. Oh, you're terrible at this. Well, I'll just keep doing it until I murder my wife.
Yeah. All right. Over under. Do we get one more fucking crazy story before the election?
Of course. We're going to get crazy stories for the next year.
That's 3 more. I'm saying 3 more.
You saying 3 more before the election? That's a lot. I might go 1. I'm going to say there's going to be one more crazy
but here's
thing.
the thing that's going to happen. I could take you through the next. These are going to be the beats of the election. The debate is going to be so-so. It's going to be split no matter what happens.
Right.
It'll be a quiet news day, and a journalist will just come upon RFK in a dumpster behind a Panera Bread.
Yeah.
And RFK will be like, oh, did I ever tell you about the time I fucked a Tesla?
It's coming. Well, anyway, RFK, goodbye.